Previously on Love on the Rocks.
Honestly, Quartz Mountain was a fail.
I don't know, Tay.
A bust.
Well, I am bailing.
I'm not really used to seeing Jason go to these headspaces where he feels intimidated. I need to know what's going on. I can't rely all on him to save us.
Oh yeah, and the next thing we're gonna do is like a 1,700-foot alpine climb on the Grand Teton.
And I just kept thinking, like, are we gonna be able to do this?
So next thing we do is, luckily we had planned to just take a little breather from the psychological warfare of climbing on slab and go to the Little Sahara.
Like the name suggests, Little Sahara is Oklahoma's own personal desert, located in the north-central part of the state. It's a geographical oddity that has been the favorite of outdoor and off-road enthusiasts from around the country.
I think it's gonna be awesome. So much fun.
You're not worried about us getting stuck in the sand?
Maybe I should be. I bet my lack of worry is a ignorant thing.
We were going to rent ATVs. All of the ATVs were rented out. But lucky for us, we have Rubio, my Rubicon.
So we cruise out there, and it turns out it's a blast. I will never hesitate to take the Jeep out there again.
Jason was a little apprehensive of how far he could push the Jeep on the dunes. I think he's kind of driving a little bit more carefully.
You know what? It's kind of one of those things. This whole trip is about venturing into the unknown. I like the unknown. Quickly, I thought, you know what? Let's just hand the keys over to my wife. And she's bold, and she's ready to try new things.
And then he's like, do you want to drive? I was like, sure, I'll give it a whirl. In high school, when I was learning to drive, my driver instructor told me that my nickname would forever be Speed Demon.
And she just with no hesitation, just takes off.
I just went full throttle forward, and it was amazing. It was so exhilarating and just a really fun activity. It was a great way to spend the day.
Little Sahara is fantastic. Driving around the dunes was so much fun. I just literally could not believe that I have lived in Oklahoma my entire life, and I have never taken a Jeep out there and just had a blast.
Done with the dunes.
Done with the dunes.
Head to Tulsa.
Yep.
Work on some more climbing.
Yep. It's training time.
Training time. Let's go.
With 3 challenging summits on the horizon, Jason and Tayler return home to Tulsa to take one last opportunity to prepare. There's no better way to test their skills and mental toughness than with a late-night climbing session at Climb Tulsa.
So we wrap up the dunes, and thinking about the bust on Quartz Mountain is kind of like on my mind, and we've decided to make our way back to Tulsa and go to Climb Tulsa and just put in some lines.
Really, our goal at Climb Tulsa is to push ourselves with lead climbing, which is not my favorite thing.
For me, it's really important that Tayler understands lead climbing well. And I do think she tends to withdraw a little bit from lead climbing.
I think my relationship with climbing really changed last year. Climbing for me was always a fun activity that I got to go do with my friends, and I felt really confident. I didn't really think about the risks that come along with it. About a year ago, we went out for a climb on my birthday in Eldo Canyon in Colorado, and on our way down, we were kind of trapped in the canyon because a climber had fallen and died. You know, it's just this realization. And then you start looking at accident reports and start reading about all the things that can happen climbing. And it is a part of climbing.
Nice.
Like, risk is a part of climbing. Every time you get on a rock wall, like, you are accepting the fact that something terrible could happen. I think that my head went to the extreme. Instead of looking at it as fun, I just looked at the risk.
All right, make that clip. Take the fall.
Take
the fall.
Take.
I got you.
I don't want to take the fall. Take.
I'm taking you.
Oh my gosh.
You got it.
No, I don't want to.
You got it.
Jason.
You got
take
it.
the freaking rope. Take it.
You know, marrying Jason, everyone kind of joked that we'd always be on the run, and that they joke him, like, saying that, oh, what are you gonna make her do next? And I love adventure. I love climbing. I love being on mountains. But I do think that there's moments where my mental game, I'm like, gosh, am I going to shut myself down? Am I gonna be the thing that stands in the way of doing these really amazing things because I can't get over this fear of failure and being perfect? And I think that's what these mountains are for me, is proving to myself, like, I am strong enough and I am capable, not only physically, but mentally too.
You got it.
No, I don't. I hate overhangs. And I hate getting frustrated and not being able to do stuff because I should be better.
You don't have to be great at everything.
Yeah, I do.
You got this.
You know, there's this line in the archway. I've been working on this stupid line. I mean, long story short, I try the climb and I fall. I try the climb and I fall. I try the climb and I fall. So I give it everything I can. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking about this stupid fail that we had at Quartz. The next thing's the Grand Teton. And I get up there and I just can't do it. Like, I try and honestly, I get real frustrated. Like, I'm not somebody that like yells and gets angry. I just get disappointed. And so I just try this stupid climb over and over again. I just fail it until the point that my forearms are burned out and there's nothing left.
And you know, it's kind of a not fun way to leave the gym, feeling defeated when you have 3 mountains on the horizon. So we packed up, got in the car, and I just kept thinking, like, are we gonna be able to do this? Gearing up for the next road trip.
Jeep keeps changing every time we go somewhere.
We're learning as we go. We're going to be more organized this trip so we don't have another pandemic. Hopefully we don't ruin the house in the process. So we head out in 3 days for our next road trip, and this one is going to be very long. It includes 3 big mountains. So I'm doing a little bit of mountain food prepping. This is the first time I've ever made our own food for mountaineering, so we'll see how it goes.
The bag is on top. The hijack is installed. The drawer is installed.
We're all packed up and ready to head out for a month.
The next road trip, this is the one that I've been waiting for. This is the road trip where we're continuing and each road trip is flowing into the next one.
The big kahuna, the epic road trip that we had been planning for months and months and months. The one that incorporated 3 huge summits.
You know, I couldn't be more excited. Really, you know, it was years ago that Tayler and I talked about this idea of road tripping the West. And I think it was kind of inspired by this idea of could we go do something for a whole month and just go to all these cool places?
Hey, you missed a spot.
You're not even gonna help me?
You're doing really good.
So our first stop on the trip was Wyoming. We were headed to the Grand Teton for our first summit, hopefully. And to get there, we went through Hays, Kansas, spent the night there.
OMG.
And we're going to also go through Colorado to spend some time with my grandparents.
Jason and Tayler hit the road heading north through Colorado to eventually settle in Wyoming. They'll explore Jackson Hole and even Yellowstone National Park, but their real objective will be to climb and hopefully summit the Grand Teton.
We made it to Morrison, Colorado. What does this place mean to you?
My grandparents live here. We have lived here since I was born. It's where my mom grew up. And yeah, I love this place. We used to come here at least once a year, usually in the summer on our way up to Minnesota. It's pretty spectacular in the foothills of Colorado.
They have this beautiful house in this small community in the foothills of Colorado. Super southwestern vibe, very rustic, and I love going there because my Nana is a phenomenal cook. She makes the best Mexican food I've ever had in my entire life.
Everybody going through the
Hello,
road.
Dawn.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Rose,
Hello.
would you like to give some commentary about your tasty salsa?
I'm glad you like it.
What are you making?
Okay, I'm making an enchilada casserole,
Enchilada casserole.
and I'm making it for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's chicken with chili with some mushroom soup, and we're just going to bake it for about 20 minutes, so warm it up, and it should be ready to go.
I need first impression.
Oh man, just that little tiny bit of chicken was really good. All right, let's get some cheese, because cheese is where it's at.
Got the gear packed in.
So we had a lot of fun staying at their place.
See ya. Love you guys.
Jason and Tayler continue north to Jackson Hole. Before they can begin the climb, they'll need to reserve one of the few remaining camping permits from the nearby Rangers station, so they'll need to get there quick.
Taylor's driving.
Woohoo!
Where are we going?
We're going to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I don't know why I said it like that.
We were wanting to get to Jackson Hole in time to go to the permit office to get our permit for the Grand Teton, which we were hoping to summit the next day. I took over driving for a little bit because Jason needed to work, and there's this weird thing that happens on the road periodically, sometimes worse than others. We run out of gas.
What's going on with the fuel?
We're almost out of gas, and I don't know where the next gas station is. And we're in Wyoming, which means there's few and far between places to stop.
I'm not sure what Taylor was like before she married me, but I'm certain that it's likely that she has inherited this running out of gas problem from me, because I run out of gas more than anyone I know. And, this is likely not to be the first time on this road trip that we almost end up on the side of the road. How are you feeling?
I'm stressed.
What are your feelings?
I'm stressed
Why are you stressed?
because I don't see a gas station.
We're in Laramie. It is a giant city in Wyoming. It's not a small city.
Okay.
And look, you have
Barely any.
10 whole miles.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm really challenging Taylor to grow her faith on this road trip.
What?
The first activity to do such is to not get fuel until you're under 10 miles.
Range low. Range low.
Range
Oh
low.
my gosh. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man.
We're gonna run out.
No, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
I don't even know where the next gas station is. I don't. We're supposed to get on the interstate here.
Let me use the Google. Stand by.
Everyone and their freaking mother is here. Oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get to a thing.
Well, if we were at Love's,
No.
how come this car is blocking both pumps? Oh, that pump's out, so it's okay.
This is really annoying.
Well, we made it to a gas station, thank God, and right in time for me to run out of fuel.
We are coming over Union Pass by the Wind River, and I think we might get our first look at the Grand Teton. We'll know really soon. Yeah, I think you're gonna see it right out over this ledge. There it is.
Man.
Oh my gosh. It does. It looks unclimbable. It just looks terrifying. It's no wonder I want to climb it. I mean, it's like the most aesthetic mountain in the U.S.
It is crazy how intimidating it looks. Just a sharp, pointed knife head pointed towards the sky. Tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be climbing it.
Making it to the top is much easier said than done. The Grand Teton sits at an elevation of 13,776 feet, with approximately 6,545 feet of prominence. The jagged, sharp peak that resembles a shark tooth is one of the most recognizable and iconic mountains in the country. The Grand has captivated and inspired generations of mountaineers to try for a summit. The first climber to ever reach the top is still a bit of a mystery. Some claim that Nathaniel P. Langford and James Stevenson claimed the Victoria's summit in 1878. Others say the pair actually climbed a side peak named the Enclosure, and it was William Owen and Frank Spalding who were actually the first to summit in 1898. Regardless, the Grand Teton is a summit that continues to get the best of even the most experienced mountaineers, like Jason.
The Grand Teton is a mountain that I have tried to climb 3 other times. The closest I ever got was my very first attempt. We were 200 feet short of the top. On descent, we took a route down that was not the route we came up, which is kind of like 101 Mountaineer no-no. And in doing so, we were on about a 50-degree angle of snow, and my left crampon folded off my boot, lost my footing, took off down that angle. We proceeded to go about 40, 50 miles an hour down this high angle snow across 3 or 4 rock outcrops. At the bottom of this chute is a 500-foot vertical cliff, and that's kind of the end of that. And it was terrifying. And it was slow and long enough that I honestly thought that this might be it. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, and we both just jam our axes as hard as we could, and we jam our heels as hard as we can. And it's just like we start slowing down, and then we come onto a rock outcrop, and it's like, and we stop. I immediately put my hands on my thighs because I'm certain that I've broke my femurs, or I've shattered my knees, or my ankles are compound fractured sticking out. And like, there's nothing, like everything's fine. There's no bones sticking out of my legs. And then I'm just like, oh my God, we're okay. So anyways, that was Grand Teton trip number 1 a long time ago. Ever since then, it's kind of haunted me because I'm not one of those people, like I don't get defeated. You may defeat me now, but I will come back and defeat you if you're a mountain. You can understand why it would haunt you, because it's beautiful and terrifying. You want to climb it, but you're a little scared of it. And I like to always have control of what I'm doing for the most part. I already know that the Jenny Lake Ranger Station is a climbing ranger station. So anyways, I put a call in. I'm like, hey, I need to get this permit. And they're like, oh, you got to go to the ranger station over near the Yellowstone entrance. And I'm like, that's weird.
So what's going on?
Well, climbing is such a challenged hobby of aligning like 27 ducks in a row. So you have to get a permit to sleep in the Garnett Canyon to put yourself in a nice position to have the best likelihood of sending your route on the Grand Teton. And they have 1 permit left on the Moraine for tomorrow night, and then lots of permits available for Tuesday night, so no problems there. But they close at 5, we're gonna get there at 4. He has 1 permit left, and he said, I can't sell it over the phone, but get in here and it's all yours. So all we can do is drive and hope, because if it does sell out, then the only permit we can get is the Meadows. And I don't want to camp at the Meadows on a summit day. I mean, that's just not a thing. So I guess we'll see.
So we made it to the place where we get permits from. Jason went up to talk to the guy and hopefully get our permits for the Grand Teton. Does not look super promising. He looks extremely pissed off.
You have to go to the climbing ranger station. Jenny Lake, 100%. Yeah, I know, I just had that conversation with 2 different people and they said to come here. No, Jenny Lake, 100%. That's where you have to go if you're climbing.
Sweet. I was like, man, I tell you, it's fine. I'm not trying to criticize the federal government staff at the national parks, but very frustrated, is what it is. So anyways, I'd already talked to them on the phone. They said they had a few permits left over earlier in the day. So we go over to Jenny Lake and they're like, we're sold out. There aren't any left. The only ones they had left were like really low on the mountain. The whole thing that's unique about the Grand Teton is you have to like understand, this is true with Mount Everest. It's true with almost all big mountains. You have these different places you can camp, and where you camp is going to have a big impact on where you wake up and try to make a summit from.
All right, so I just left the ranger station. He said we can get a permit tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for the upper or the lower saddle. And that the upper exit route is clean, clear, and beautiful. So we should have a great shot at summiting. Woo!
And that means tonight we get to go drink wine and have a lovely time and not be rushed.
Might even be able to use the swimming pool.
And get back massages.
Maybe so.
Next time on Love on the Rocks.
You have to be kidding me. We were supposed to be summiting today and that already got blown out. So now we're gonna try to summit tomorrow. If that gets blown out, like what is gonna happen here?
I made the ultimate mistake.
I see her coming over the ridge and I'm looking right at her and I'm belaying her up and then she just says,
No, 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 no.
now the rope's stuck, which means I have to climb back up there and unstick it and figure out how to get down safely. This mountain wants to defeat me. Like the Grand Teton does not like Jason Burks. It is not going to let him climb it. End of story.
Close my eyes, you're looking back at me. As real as autumn air I take and breathe. Try as you might, but you can't